Well, hey everyone, happy Bulletproof Monday. And if you are here live, it is Martin Luther King Day. And if you are at home with your kids, or if you are not even in America, but you're just taking a moment right now to be here watching live, wherever you are right now, I just want to commend you. I know it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to carve out those precious moments in your day just to really pour back into yourself, and that's the goal with Bulletproof Monday. This show is dedicated to entrepreneurs, founders, small business owners, and really bringing you the mindset and the tools to succeed and take things to the next level. And my name is Susan Sly, and it's my privilege to be here with all of you. I am working from home today. The kids are at home today, and I always share with you a little bit of what's going on in my life. And yesterday, my son and I ran a half marathon, which was fun. It was my first one post-Lyme. And for those of you who are new to the show and you don't know, I've been on a journey with Lyme disease, and I now have totally cleared it up out of my system. And so it was my first race post-Lyme, and it was definitely not my fastest, but it was my most fulfilling, there's no question. And for my son, who's 17 years old, it was his third half marathon. He did an amazing job. And so I get to be here at home, working from home today, and being here with my kids, and of course with all of you. So I want to get started and talk about challenges. And we all face challenges, and those challenges, of course, can come professionally, they can come in our relationships, they can even come in our health, and God forbid, but sometimes they come all at one time, and it really shakes us and leaves us wondering if we can move forward with our goals. And the other thing that happens with challenges is, especially if we've had success in our past, is it causes us to start to look at our future through the lens of our past, wondering, will I ever make as much money as I used to? Will I ever have the passionate relationship I used to? Will I ever be as healthy and lean and fit as I used to? And what I want to say to you is that instead of thinking that way, is that imagine, if you will, that you can actually come back stronger, and it might not show up the way you want to. So this show today is really dedicated to those of you who've had some past wins. Perhaps you're in a place right now where some things are going really well. Maybe you've got some things that are stagnant. And I'm going to share with you my 5 best strategies for coming back even stronger. One of the things I always say from stage or when I'm training at different events is that in the face of challenge, we can either give up or get better. And I want all of you to get better. So a couple of quick announcements. I have my signature event, Only 4 Days, is coming up April 16th to 19th. And this event is for small business owners and founders. We teach social media marketing optimization. There's a lot of things changing every single year. So, last year we weren't talking about TikTok. This year we are. We have the #1 strategist in the world in social media marketing who's on CNN 3 times. Last year, Dennis Yu is coming to train. He's going to train for 90 minutes. He's going to send you off to do some homework essentially and come back and rate your work. And so Kieran O'Brien is going to be there. He is a strategist for online social media advertising. We have Casey Adams, who's the #1 podcaster in the world for Gen Z. He's his show Rise the Young is amazing. And all of our incredible trainers, Dr. Diane Hamilton, she was the right hand of Steve Forbes. She ran Forbes University. She is a best-selling author. Her book, The Curiosity Code, is life-changing, and the list goes on and on and on. So this event is immersion. It is not an event that you go to, take a bunch of notes, and you get back and you're so overwhelmed you don't apply anything. This event has the philosophy: you learn, you do, you review. So you actually leave with the skills, the knowledge, the wisdom, and projects that are done. So check it out, only4days.com. Tickets are selling out. The event will sell out. We sold more tickets over the weekend, only4days.com, and the code ACTION, with all capitals, ACTION, ACTION, gets you $200 off the ticket price, so do check it out. Anyway, I want to jump right into it, and I was making notes yesterday for all of you, and I do post the show notes on susansly.com, and so they will be up in a couple of days, but let's just get right to it. So with challenge, what often happens is it causes us to look in the mirror and ask ourselves if we're capable. And how many of you, it's so great. Hey, Angelique, Lauren, and Debbie, it's great to see all of you. How many of you have had that? You've had a challenge and you look in the mirror and go, can I really do this? Do I have the strength? Do I have the stamina to do one more sales run in my business, or to go and, really focus on my workout regime one more time, or go back to couples counseling again? And it can leave us questioning, it can leave us exhausted, it can leave us in our head. And the reality is that no one has ever become successful without surmounting a certain number of challenges. Now, there are 3 ways people deal with challenges. So the first one is they get excited. And so you look at someone like, say, Michael Phelps, right? No one has won more Olympic medals than Michael Phelps. And he's this person that when they say, well, Michael, you're too old, or, well, Michael, you were caught doping, he looks at it and he's like, guess what? I'm going to prove my haters wrong. And how many of you know someone like that? The more they get criticized, the more it really pushes them to want to achieve. I know that some of you are like that. When someone says you can't do something, that's when you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it, right? And there are many politicians and celebrities who are just like that. Like, tell me I can't, because that's going to be the fuel in my fire that I can, right? And the second type of person when it comes to challenges are neutral. And these are lovely people. So we're here at Step Into Your Power and my digital marketing agency, Agency 8. We're about to hire some people. We're going to hire a social media community manager. We're also going to hire a video editor full-time. And one of the things that you always want to look for, especially when you're hiring people, is to have that person, no matter what is thrown at them, they are neutral. Because I know some of you were thinking, when you said neutral, Susan, I don't want to be that person. No, you want to surround yourself with people like that. So I was at a function, and a friend of mine is a corporate attorney, and someone came up to him and said, oh, there's a lawsuit. And he looks at me and goes, oh, company's getting sued again. No big deal. I'll handle it and I'll win. Like, just neutral about it. You want, and please write this down if you're taking notes, you want to surround yourself with some people who are unflappable. I have my moments. I am that person. My friends come to me for advice. They're like, oh, Susan, you give the best advice. You're a coach, you're a trainer. But there are some things that, and my staff will tell you that, like, it happens and I'm like, ah. And one of the people that I have in my life, she has worked with me for, gosh, almost 15 years, is Tisha. Tisha is the COO of all of my companies. And no matter what happens, she's just calm. Yep, okay, we'll handle it. It takes a monsoon of challenge to rock that woman. And that's why I not only say, hey, you're running things, but I give her the austerity to run things, because I know she's unflappable. The third type of person, they just get enraptured in worry and doubt. And the problem with that is, when you're in worry and doubt, do you make good decisions? No, because when you're in worry and doubt, you do things to sabotage your success. So let's say, as an example, you're very worried about your finances. That's going to be a time when you're going to eat Ben and Jerry's at night, or you're worried that your business isn't going to go where you want it to go. And instead of making sales calls and doing the things you need to do, you just watch kitten videos on Instagram or something like that, right? And worry and doubt will never, ever serve you. So what you want to choose is person 1 or person 2. You either have to be unflappable, like the Queen, as an example. She's just gone through a lot of different stuff in her 90s with her grandson and his wife, but she's unflappable. She's very, very calm. Or you want to be that person who says, yeah, there's a challenge and I'm going to face it head on. But just be cautious, because if you're that person all the time, then it's amazing how you'll have more challenges thrown at you if they excite you. So just something to really think about. But let's get into 5 ways where challenges can make you better. And I do want to say that I'm just going to start with a little story. So many years ago, I was a professional triathlete, and I loved it. I actually used to pay part of my rent money with my winnings from triathlon, and I loved the podium. And I would, I was not the greatest swimmer, but I just get through the swim. I know some of you love swimming. That wasn't me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get through the swim. Then I'm going to get on my bike. And if you're ahead of me, I'm going to hunt you down. And then I'm going to run. And running was my best of all three. And I'm like, if I'm not in first place, you're going to be behind me because I'm going to find you and I'm going to pass you. And that's the mindset I had back in those days. Well, when I got diagnosed with MS when I was 27 years old, that changed my whole pro career because suddenly I was getting vertigo while I was on the bike and I was exhausted and running 10 kilometers. I used to do 3-hour runs and I'd run 30 kilometers at a time. Suddenly running a 10K felt like I was running back-to-back marathons, and that changed everything for me. And so as I began to try and piece my health together and with great nutrition and doing all the right things, I was able to go on and qualify for the Boston Marathon several times and run several Bostons. And it was all well and good. But what I didn't know was that I actually had Lyme disease. And so a few years ago, and if you've been following my journey, I was diagnosed with Lyme, and it wasn't pretty. And I had spent a lot of time in bed. I had a hard time even being in rooms with bright lights, or if I was at conferences. If you ever saw me at a conference, I found like the noise and all the people, it was too much, but I was still the person. If I was doing a speaking event, that I'd stand there, I'd talk to you, I'd pray with you, I'd sign my books, and I'd do all that stuff. But it was really, really hard. And it took me 2 years to be able to eradicate the Lyme from my body and then begin the cleanup process. And so when I started really thinking about, again, doing more Boston marathons and qualifying again, sometimes just running right now 5K, let alone running a whole marathon, which is 42 kilometers or 26.2 miles, is daunting. And the biggest growth for me hasn't been physical. It's been how I've had to shift my mindset to stay more positive, even when I was tired, even when I couldn't go super fast. And just to give you the perspective, when I was doing half Ironman racing, I would get off the bike 56 miles and I'd run a half marathon in sub 1:30. Yesterday I did a half marathon in 2 hours, and I used to think I'll never be that slow. I could walk it in 2 hours. Well, guess what? You get humbled, right? When you start to brag, God has a way to humble you. I'll tell you that. I've learned at this stage of my life to be a lot more humble. But one of the things that I know is you cannot drive a car 100 miles an hour only looking in your rear view mirror. You have to look through the windshield. And that's an analogy for your life, that I can't look at Susan doing half marathons today as the woman that I was, and I have to embrace the process and the journey and embrace the wins along the way, and also keep myself open to the fact that, I potentially, as it takes usually around 3 years to recover after doing the 2 years of Lyme treatment, that potentially I could go that fast again, and I can qualify for Boston again, and I will do all those things. And it's about being patient with myself. And some of you had wins, you made a lot of money, and then suddenly you didn't, and you're wondering, can I do it again? Or you were in a juicy, amazing, passionate relationship and your partner passed, or they went away, or something happened, and you're wondering, can I find love again? Or you wrote a best-selling book, or you did something amazing, you haven't done anything since, and you're wondering, are my best days behind me? And my answer, my friends, is no. And let me share with you how you can really not only reclaim all of your victories, but you can do it at a whole new level. And that's what I'm really here to inspire you with today. So number one, grab your notepad. I like to go fast. Is you've got to challenge yourself physically. So in order to overcome any form of obstacle, complacency, plateau, whether it's business or relationships, you've got to challenge yourself physically. And if you've never done one, enter a 5K, sign up for the spinning class, go to a boxing class, go for a hike, do something physical with your body that you have never ever done. And or you haven't done it in a long time, because when you challenge yourself physically, it's amazing how that boosts your confidence. It helps you secrete endorphins, and you're like, yes, I can do this. And challenging yourself physically right now might be walking for 20 minutes, or for some of you who are super fit, it might be doing a CrossFit class or doing something. Challenge yourself physically. Everyone I know who is highly, highly accomplished. I just had Harvey McKay on my podcast show, so you can check it out on iTunes on the Susan Sly Project. He is still running at 88 years old. I mean, this man is incredible. He still works out 5 days a week. Challenging yourself physically, it's going to change your life. Number 2 is challenge yourself intellectually. Some of you are complacent in your relationships, your health, your marriage, whatever it is, because you haven't challenged yourself intellectually, and you're almost putting your life on cruise control. And that's why I still attend conferences. That's why I still have mentors and coaches. Harvey McKay is one of my mentors. He's always challenged me mentally. Last year, that's why I enrolled at MIT, because I wanted to challenge myself intellectually. And you're never going to get better unless someone is challenging you to get better. I was driving back from Las Vegas with my friend Dennis Yu. And Dennis went to the London School of Economics. And I said, how was that? And he said, the thing I loved is I couldn't just write an essay and turn it in. The professors all asked me to defend my position. And in my role as co-CEO of Radius, anytime I prepare a white paper or a pricing proposal, or right now I have one I'm working on, it's like 35 pages, we have meetings and they'll say, Susan, what did you mean by this? Or tell us why you said this. Why is it priced like this? Why? I have to be able to defend it, and it challenges me intellectually. And you can challenge yourself intellectually and grow and get better. And really think quite deeply, are you complacent right now? Maybe you have an amazing tool, an amazing vehicle that can help you get to where you want to be, but you're just complacent because you haven't learned new skills that you can apply to that vehicle, that business that you have. Number 3 is challenge yourself in business. There was a woman I knew, and she was number 3 in her network marketing company, and it drove her crazy. And she's like, I can't be number 3 anymore. And so she took off one day, Friday, and she said to her family, she's like, I'm going to sit in my office until I'm number 1 in this company. And she did. She made calls and she followed up, and she did. They were paid monthly, so she knew she could get to number 1. She was close, and her kids were bringing her food. Mommy, how are you doing? And by the end of the day, she was number 1. Another friend of mine, a mentor, she wanted to be number 1 in her company, also a network marketing company, years ago. And she booked a series of meetings down the East Coast of the US. And she flew by herself. She left her husband and son and flew to the East Coast, and she did meeting after meeting after meeting. She went all the way from Washington to Florida, stayed in hotels, rented a car, did the whole thing, and at the end of that trip, she was number 1. Some of you are so close to making more money, but you don't do that. You don't just say, I'm sitting in this chair, or I'm booking all these meetings. I'm going to just dedicate this time until the goal is achieved. That's the kind of thing you have to do. And in business, it's something I do. You know, if you look at anything I've achieved, even, you know, in the last several months, it all stemmed from me saying, I am booking this time. I'm sitting in my chair. I'm going to drink protein shakes. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to only leave my chair to go to the restroom until it's done. And that's how you GSD. That's how you get stuff done. But if you're just doing little bits here and there, you're not challenging yourself to do what it takes, what is necessary. And many of you are smart people. You know what is necessary. Just sitting in the chair, locking yourself in the room until it is done. And that's often what it takes. Number 4, challenge yourself in your relationships. And this one isn't easy. The average married couple divorce rate in the United States is about 50%. Number 1 cause of divorce in the United States is financial. It is said, it was published in USA Today several years ago, that an extra $500 a month would prevent about 50% of the divorces in America. A lot of people are committing financial infidelity in their marriage, so they're spending and their partner doesn't know, they're not having open communication. That's just one aspect. There could be other aspects, complacency in the marriage. You don't make time for it. You know, my husband and I, it hasn't been easy. You know, but we've been together 20 years this September. And, you know, I'm not a relationship expert by all means, although I do give great relationship advice. It isn't easy. It is not easy. But one of the things that Chris and I know is we have to challenge ourselves. And I'll show you, he left this note, this Post-it on my laptop earlier today. And right now we're just challenging each other just to write each other little notes every single day for the month of January. And it might be something like that. It might be challenging yourself to go on 2 dates a month. It might be challenging yourself to schedule time for intimacy, as horrible as that sounds, but if it isn't written down, sometimes it doesn't happen. And it might be challenging yourself to go for therapy or have the conversations or do Dave Ramsey's Financial Peace University, whatever it is for you. But as you challenge yourself to grow in your relationship, it is amazing how that helps you in all other areas of your life. Number 5 is the final one. It's to challenge yourself spiritually. We are nothing without our belief. And if you're an atheist and you don't believe, I'm going to be pretty pointy shoes today. We all believe sometime. And one of the top regrets of the dying is that they didn't have a belief. So you may think, oh yes, well, when I go, I'm just done or whatever. But is that what you're going to think when you've got literally 5 minutes left on this earth? I don't know. But challenging yourself spiritually means that you're challenging yourself to grow in spirit. And so obviously I'm a Christian, and you know, by all means, I'm not here to preach at you. I'm just here to love with you. And your spiritual practice might be daily prayer. And you might say, well, Susan, I don't know how to pray. Just close your eyes and talk to God. Okay, it's not perfect, right? You don't have to, you could be a blabbling whatever. It's okay. There's a scene in Eat, Pray, Love, if you ever watched that movie, where she talks about, I don't know how to pray, but she literally gets up in the middle of the night and she's like, just praying, just speaking. Challenge yourself to read something that really fills your soul, and that, that's daily. Doing it daily, or maybe it's listening to a podcast daily for whoever resonates for you at the part of the journey that you're on. Maybe it could be doing daily gratitudes. I write out 10 gratitudes a day. I remember when Jim Rohn was still alive, I had the privilege, thanks to my friend Jeffrey, of sharing the stage with him on numerous occasions, including the last time he spoke live in Dallas. And Jim used to say, if you want to be a millionaire, read the New Testament every single day. And again, you might not be a Christian, or this isn't about religion, it's about faith and spirit, but I'm just sharing what Jim said. And from that day forward, I did that every single night before bed. I always did. And so whatever it is going to be for you, challenge yourself, because here's the thing. In any challenge, you will have a test of faith. And your faith doesn't grow in the light when things are easy. Your faith grows in the darkness when things are hard. And so with that, I just hope and I pray for all of you that you'll take today's challenges, you'll use them, park yourself in your chair, schedule that time with your partner, do something that's physically challenging, grow in your spirit. right? That's going to help you stay more positive. Do all of these things. And I promise you, and I believe with all of my heart, that you're going to come out stronger. You're going to come out better. You're going to come out more fulfilled, a lot happier. And you're going to do amazing things this year that, you know, will take all of your past achievements and just, they will pale in comparison. And I look at this medal from yesterday, and I look at that one. I know if you're looking at my nails, I've got to get them done, but I have a big function coming up this week, so I'm pushing it as long as I can. But I look at this medal, and it's my favorite medal right now because it's my most recent medal. I have Ironman medal, I have Boston Marathon medals, I have all kinds of them. This is my favorite because it represents what I'm capable of as the woman I am now. So with that, much love to all of you. I read every one of your show comments. Please, by all means, do comment. If this has been great for you, do share it. If you're listening on iTunes, I would love a 5-star review. I will be bringing on more guests in the coming weeks. Do go ahead to thesusanslyproject.com. Check out some of my past episodes. Great people like Jesse Itzler, who's married to Sarah Blakely. He founded NetJets, Zico Coconut Water. Jesse's like a massive billionaire. Greg Williams, who's an amazing strategist. I've got New York Times bestselling authors on there. Check it out. It's awesome. And if you're thinking about only 4 days and you're like, should I come? Does this make sense? Go ahead. If you have questions, just send me an email at info@susansly.com, and one of my staff, or even me, you never know, will be happy to answer your questions. We would love to see you there. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So with that, God bless. Go rock your day. And I will see you next Monday for another episode of Bulletproof Monday. Goodbye, everyone.